steel installation on a new or an existing home, approximately 150 years old. This is the beginning of the process. We start off with your lawn, of course. As you can see, we mark where the geothermal loops are going to be drilled for the geothermal piping. Once they're marked, everything is Bud's been out and approved the marking of all the holes. Then the rock drillers of Bardstown, which now you see is the drilling rig, comes in and drills the holes for the geothermal piping. We'll walk this way and I'll show you the piping that goes into the ground. These are the coils for the geothermal piping that goes into the ground. They have a couple holes already drilled for us. We started the job early this morning. This is what happens to your lawn as they start drilling. And then from there, later on, we'll show you with the backhoe. He'll come in and we'll show you approximately how the digging and the connecting of all the geothermal piping goes. Now let's walk into the house. This house was purchased, and it was a vacant house. It was purchased, so the homeowner is going to put Geo. We're going to put 4 Geo units in the house. We've been in the process of removing the old boiler system. As you can see here, we have the radiators and stuff that we are removing. So we'll come into the house, and as of right now, we have nothing cut into the floor of the house. So this will be practically like doing a new job. We'll walk downstairs. I'll show you the existing boiler system, and what we will do, we'll continue a process throughout the whole job, so that you can see what happens throughout the whole job. There's the boiler, and now we're going to turn to the left here. This is our two of our Geo units that are going to be set down in the basement. We still have to run duct work on. We're going to go to the other side of the basement now. To the other side of the basement here is the other 2 Geos. We have 4 units in this big house. These are the actual units, the actual size of the units, which are the package unit itself is about the size of a refrigerator. Then you see the split system here. It's going to be connected to an air handler on the 2nd floor to minimize the amount of water that we have on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Wall penetration will come through the wall here with our geothermal piping. Again, we'll be able to see that in the future when we continue this on.
Drilling rig beginning to set up to drill our next hole. So in most cases, this is the type of rig that'll be on your site to do the geothermal. This is the worst part that we have to contend with, is trying to get these wells drilled. We've yet to come across a geothermal system that we have not been able to get it in yet. I'm turning the camera sideways to get a tall view. So as you see, it's a pretty good sized rig. Now we'll walk up and watch you get ready to start the process of the drilling. As you can see, it's no problem for this rig. The quicker they hit rock, the faster they can drill. So he's looking for rock as soon as possible. On a normal installation, these guys can usually do anywhere between a 4-loop and a 6-loop system for us in a day, depending on the weather and how wet it is. Job here ends up being a pretty big job. They end up with 13 tons of cooling in this home, so we'll have 12 holes drilled to accommodate the earth loop system for the geothermal. Now you can hear he's actually starting to hit rock. guys actually only do the drilling for us. Us at Geothermal by Design, we do all of our own connections. Therefore, it's the loops that we have in the ground. That way, we're responsible for everything. You don't have different contractors coming in and having to worry about one contractor blaming another contractor. So therefore, we do all of our own loops. All of our employees are loop certified for heat fusion on the loop. We've also, everyone in the company also has been trained and certified on installation and service of geothermal equipment as well. So we all have the certifications. And then we'll come back to this here in a little while and show the pipe actually being dropped into the ground.
Okay, here we are, day 3. Loops are all drilled. Next process now, backhoe man comes out, does the digging to run all the pipes in the house. As you can see, the mess the yard is right now. Once we're finished, it'll be back to rough grade. At any point in time, if you would like, we also have someone that can do a complete finish on your yard. Go back to seed and straw, or we can even have it sodded if that's what you like to do. So, but next process right now is getting ready to start digging with the backhoe to bury all the pipes. Here is Mike digging, Mike Klosterman with Klosterman Excavating. He does all the digging for our loops. We'll try to get all these pipes anywhere between 3 to 4 foot deep. That way, if you ever have to do any digging in your yard, you never have to worry about digging up the loops. What we're doing today is we're just going to dig the loops out today, get everything set and ready to go for tomorrow. We will be in here tomorrow doing all of our connection with our heat fusion. As you can see, since we're going to be delayed a day on putting the pipes all together, we've put up a privacy or a safety fence to protect the area, to keep anyone from getting into the loop. Here we are back in the basement. This is where the boiler used to sit. It's now tore out. As you can see, we're still in the process of removing all the old boiler lines as well. Most of the big lines have been removed. And then we'll continue the process of removing all the pipes. Once all the pipes is removed, we'll go through a real good cleanup process, get everything cleaned up good, get the pipes into the house for the geothermal, and then we'll start running our ductwork. Okay, here we are again. The ditch is completely open now. As you can see, we're approximately 3.5, 4 foot deep. Try to keep it as deep as we can. Not too bad of an area here that we've gotten torn up. Unfortunately for this yard here, we have 12 loops, so we're going to get a lot of the yard here. And now we're going to start the process of the heat fusion, of hooking all the pipes together.
Heat fusion, the fusion gun, which is the heat iron, 505 degrees. With this small pipe, we'll hold it on there for about 8 seconds. Does an inside and outside fusion, heats the pipe up, melts it together, then when we slide them together, the fusion joint is actually stronger than the pipe once it's connected. Alright, we're cutting the end of the pipe. Once that cut, you should hear it be pressurized. It lets us know that there's no leaks in our pipe going down into the ground. There's the sound of the pressure. Lets us know that after the drillers have dropped the loops in, it guarantees us there's no leaks in the ground. We always use pressurized loops for our geo lines. And then that way, if we do end up with a leak in the future, more times than not, it's usually just right here at the header manifold, which is easily accessible.
going to move in close now to show you when the pipe slides together. As you can see, it's melting right together there. And then we'll hold it for about 30 seconds to a minute, let it set up, and then we'll move on to our next one. What we're doing now is we have a one manifold. This manifold here will either be the supply manifold or the return. What happens is the pipes go down in the ground, 200 foot or 185 depending on the system. Two pipes go in the ground, one goes down, one comes back up. So what we do is off of each hole, one pipe off each hole hooked to this manifold, run into the house with 1.25 inches. The second set of hoses comes back up, will hook to this manifold here, then you have your supply and return. Alright, here we are. Loops are all connected. Looks like a big plate of spaghetti here, I know. I'm going to zoom in closer here so you can actually see a couple of the fusion joints that we did. And you can see the pipe there, how it's all melted together on each one of the connections. And then, as I said before, now we tie into some 1.25 pipe. So you have your large 1.25 pipe that runs to the house, comes out, all the water goes into each one of those, all the way down the hose, comes back into the other header here, and then the water continues back into the house with that one there. Now we're getting ready to start backfilling, and what will happen is we'll get everything buried underneath, and then we'll leave about 1 foot of dirt left, and then we'll put some red aluminum marking tape in the hole, so that way if someone's digging within 1 foot of the topsoil, they'll hit the tape to know that the loops are there. Alright, now we're starting. I've got the loops bent nice at a nice angle there, and he'll start backfilling now. As I said, we'll put approximately about 2.5 to 3 foot of dirt on top. And then what will happen is he'll come back and we'll grade it down and then put red marking tape in. So that way if anyone's ever digging in the yard and they'll dig down about 1 foot, and then they'll know because they'll automatically hit the pipe or hit the line. As we talked about, there's the red marking tape. It's also metal tape, so it can be picked up by a metal detector. Again, as you can see, the marking tape is approximately about 1.5 to 2 foot below the surface, crossing anywhere that we have our pipes in the ground. Now I'm going to get out of the way and let Mike continue to fill the hole in. Once Mike is done filling the hole in, he'll come back and he'll do a real nice job of getting it down to what we call rough grade. And that's normally where we leave it, is at rough grade. But if the homeowner, if yourself doesn't want to do anything with the yard and you want your yard put back to exactly the way it was before we started doing it, then we definitely have that option to take care of that for you as well. There was a step that was left out. Normally what we'll do is we'll take a tape measure, go from each corner of the house, which would be side A, corner over there would be side B. Take a tape measure out, and where the two tape measures cross over top of the loop, we'll do what's called a loop map. So what will happen is one corner will come out. This corner here I think was approximately 67 foot from point A, and then it was about 92 foot from point B. Where the two tape measures cross, that tells us exactly where the loop hole is drilled. Also where we did our major manifold hookup, we'll do the same thing, and that's called our header pit. So what will happen is we'll triangulate off of the two corners to the center of where all our loops are, and that will be our header pit. So if there is ever a situation we have to dig them up, we'll know exactly where they're at. Or if you come across something you want to plant or do something over top of it as well, then you will know exactly where the loops are at. So we take a lot of precautions to make sure that we know exactly where the loops are at, and if ever needed in the future, ever needed to be found, then we can definitely find the loops for you again in the future if we ever had to get to them. Mike will continue tomorrow once we finish everything up. Mike will continue tomorrow to dress this up, but just to give you an idea here, this is back to rough grade here. He'll hit it again tomorrow and make it smoother everywhere, but just to give you an idea, this is what we call rough grade. Okay, here we are. Step 3. We have all the old equipment tore out, and we have the loops buried and run into the house. Now step 3 is we're starting to cut the holes in the floor. As you can see, the placement of the registers, what we did is where we took the old boiler radiators out, we was able to use the holes where they were at to put the placement of the registers. That way it minimizes the amount of the hose that need to be repaired. Since this here is an existing home with the hardwood, what we've done is you, like I said, use the holes. So we cut those out and put our registers in its place. That way the hardwood floor guy doesn't have as much work to do on repairing the floor, so it's going to cut down the cost for the homeowner here when it comes time for the hardwood floor to go in or finish up. These are returns that we've cut in. So I'm just showing you different areas of the house where we've done our cut in. Here's one where we still have the pipe sticking through the floor. We haven't crawled underneath there to take them completely out yet. So what will happen is we'll take those out and put a boot in there, and it'll drop right in place. Now we'll go to the second floor, where today we've done a whole lot of cutting on the second floor here. It's all plaster and lath walls. So now what we've done is we've taken a saw, cut all of our holes in the walls. That's for a supply and a return. What you're getting ready to look at now, those are the big holes where our ductwork is going to run, and they're going to build a soffit around it to close it in. And then you can see the different areas where the holes are at. Again, there's a couple holes where there'll be a supply and return in the room here. And now that we're done with doing all of our cutting and making a mess, now I've got Brian doing a major cleanup on the house. This is the closet where our air handler is going to sit for one of the Geo units. Again, there's a hole cut for the duct that way. We'll turn and look back. It's going to be ductwork going the opposite direction. Come over into another room here. We'll have a return in the wall there. Supply in the wall there. So all the holes are cut. And the main thing now is get everything cleaned back up, and we'll get ready to start running ductwork. On an existing home like this that has the plaster walls, it's always best if the house is empty. If you're going to do any kind of renovating like this, it's always best if the house is empty, because when you're cutting that plaster, there's certain tools that you have to use to keep from tearing the walls up really bad. So it does make a lot of dust. As you can see on the floor here, it does make a lot of dust. If it is an existing home, there are ways where someone's already living there. There are ways to do it, but it's a whole lot more in depth of trying to keep the dust down. But in a situation like this, where it's actually a remodel, then it works out great. That way we can just go ahead, do all of our cutting, save a lot of time, and Then come back with a shop vac and a mop, and we'll make the floors look like they was when we started. We'll continue Monday with the duct work. We'll start running the ducts, show you how the ducts all ran. This shot here, we're actually standing on the second floor, looking out the window at where the loops are buried. And as you can see where the loops are all buried out there, it's just basically just dirt. As we said before, with doing the loops in the existing yard, we have several options of leaving it the way it is and letting you as the homeowner take care of it to save some cost, or we can add it into your geothermal quote, and we can make sure we put the yard back to the way it was. Alright, here we are in the basement. Got all the units set in place. As you can see, units. These two units are for the second floor. We've started running ductwork down here now that everything's been demoed and cleared out. So now you see the ductwork run across. We always try to keep our ductwork up as high as we can to eliminate any headroom and stuff for you. So as you can see, we're tight against the floor joist, just right even with the beams in the house. So that way when it comes time to do your soffit work, then the soffits will go on much easier. We will come back, and each one of these joints where the ductwork connects will be sealed with a silicone caulk, so there will be no air leakage in the basement. Okay, we're going to the second floor now. All the hoses are cut. The duct has been ran. As you can see, there's a grill in the wall. We'll take you into the closet where the air handler is sitting now. As you can see, still got a little bit left to do. Still got a little bit left to do in the closet. Finished tying our duct in there. Now we'll go for a walk and I'll show you how the duct is ran in here as well. As you can see in the hallway area here, we really tried to keep the aesthetics by keeping the ductwork out of the hallway. In doing so, the ductwork comes through the bedroom. They'll build a soffit around the ductwork, and then the supply grill, you can see, will come right outside the soffit. Our ductwork turns, comes through. Again, there will be soffits built all around this. You'll never even know the ductwork's there and through the wall. That controls the master bedroom area in this home. So now we're going to walk up to the third floor, and I'll show you the system in the attic for the third floor. There's a supply grill that was just cut in. This is our unit for the third floor. As you can see, the ductwork comes in, runs back into the attic space here. We do the flexible duct in the attic space. We'll do hard duct everywhere in the basement. All of our hoses are cut, and all of our grills are mounted. On this second floor system, our third floor system, this is going to be a zoned system. We're going to have a thermostat controlling the third floor and also part of the second floor. So this one system right here will actually control two areas as if it was two systems. Again, there was no duct or no cuts anywhere existing. As you can see, we've cut all of our returns in. Very minimal on the damage, which is a good thing. For the anytime you're working with plaster and lath ceilings, you've always got to be real careful. They do. It does make a mess, of course, but if you're careful, then you can get everything cut without doing any damage to the drywall. And these are just all the different areas in the rooms. Here we've placed the registers in the floor. For now I've left the plastic on because we do not want to run the system. So by leaving the plastic on the registers, we eliminate getting any dirt and dust down into the ductwork. Since how it's all a brand new duct system, we definitely want to keep the system as clean as possible until the homeowner, hopefully till the homeowner gets ready to move in. And then that way it's still a brand new system once the homeowner takes over on the home.